more on the teamfight based. I like the fact though, again, with the 6 Caitlyn, you can harass down, you have a lot of poke, and then you have to hard engage if someone drops low from Roccat to start the fight. On the other side, Elise, no hard engage on her, and Fresh, you'll need to land the hooks to actually do the proper engage. So Roccat might look for something else here to do the, the real hard engages.
Well, if anyone has been landing hooks so far here in Europe, then probably argue that it might be Vander. They've picked up Renekton here again. You're going to argue maybe till the end of the day whether Renekton is the strongest top laner right now. Certainly up there with the strongest top laners, there's no doubt about that. And going for Lucian here as the AD carry for Celaver.
Yeah, Lucian is pretty much always the pick you want to go versus Caitlyn, because he can deal with her in lane. If you go for a Jinx, you're going to get harassed quite a lot by the Caitlyn, and it's very hard for you to really do too much. Lucian kind of works the same way as Caitlyn, just a little bit shorter range, but he has his Q. It's very easy to hit and then go in for the double auto attack, so you can actually trade with her. Renekton on top, it's safe. You pretty much ensure yourself for having a dominant early game, and if he's locking in this Yorick though, Mundo against Renekton. You trade pretty much the early game pressure for the late game one, because late game Mundo with the teleport, so strong. Early game Renekton, very strong. So you kind of do the trade there.
Well, we see Lee Sin coming out here in the jungle for Cyanide. And actually, if we think back to the last time that these two teams met, sOAZ played Mundo in the top lane. Cyanide played Lee Sin in the jungle. The rest of the team was different compared to that. They had Orianna, Jinx and Annie in there, but a similar top lane jungle combo from this one. Roccat now come to their last pick. It's going to be a mid laner here for Overpow.
Yeah, he needs to pick the mid laner. Gragas is gone. He loves to play that versus the 6 actually. Kale's also gone. A pick he's been using quite a lot. I'm not expecting a Mordekaiser to come out, but I'm sure he has something in mind.
That shut you up for a while there. Is it going to be an Alistar? Will we actually see that coming in?
We have seen Bjergsen actually been playing AP Alistar mainly in solo hero, switching around. K6 versus 6. The way you counter 6 is by the fact where you can actually jump to him and get to him and force him to, back off and not just poke all the time. And you can try and pick up an early kill. The thing about this matchup is the very, very early game. You're talking like level 1 to 3. There's actually kill potential for K6 if you manage to land a jump on 6. After that though, he's going to get a lot of poke from the 6, and it's going to be very hard for him to actually deal with it before he builds up some items. So we could potentially see Jankos helping out a lot, unless he can pick up the very early kill by himself.
What do we think then? Who's got the stronger lineup between these two? Familiar champions over on the Fnatic side. Lee Sin obviously in the jungle for Cyanide there. And he's done really, really well. We said a couple of weeks ago that Cyanide is maybe a player to watch because he doesn't often get the credit that he's maybe due in that team, because maybe the other superstars that are in there, your Rekkles, your xPeke, your sOAZ, even your YellOwStaR, who, as you mentioned, is possibly the best support, or has been the best support in Europe up until now. What do we think to Cyanide there on Lee Sin, going up against someone like Jankos, who's shown he can make massive plays for his team? And the fact is he's playing Elise this time around as well.
I mean, always scary to face an Elise, but if you have a jungler who can deal with it, it is Lee Sin. You can actually duel her, you can take the skirmishes with the Elise, and if Cyanide can manage to get Fnatic rolling, get the lanes ahead, with the siege combo they have, and due to the, I would say, lack of wave clear on Rockat's side, they more or less only have Lucian, unless Kha'Zix decides to involve his W for more wave clear. It's a bit unlikely though. So if they can manage to get ahead early with Fnatic, they can actually start really sieging down this turret and force Roccat into situations where they have to engage even though they've been poked. So that's kind of the way for Fnatic. If they win the early game, I actually see them taking a lot of control of the map.
Well, it's time to total up the votes and see who you guys chose to win this one. And according to lolesports.com, Fnatic leads Roccat on the fan vote with 67%. I don't think that's too far off in the scenario that we're in right now.
No,
honestly.
It's fairly spot on. Roccat won the last game, kind of bounced back. Fnatic have lost 2 in a row, so people started to say, they are humans. They can actually lose games. We didn't believe it in the start when they just won everything. But yeah, I think the voting are fairly spot on, and we're going to have an exciting match. I think we can just agree on that.
So here we go then, Fnatic versus Roccat. Last time around, this game was absolutely unbelievable. And if it's just half as good, I think we'll all still be happy by the end of it. But let's see how it's all going to kick off here. We can see that what we've come to expect at level 1 spread out across the map in a line.
First thing I noticed is the fact that we have a relic shield on Vander. He talked about it in his interview yesterday. If he's against a non-poke lane, he can take this relic shield because he doesn't need the stats from the door and shield to actually help him survive in the laning phase. And instead he can actually shove and control the wave. And he can also help out his AD carry a bit more.
So, level 1, just to quickly look at the trinket sex. We've seen a couple of different variations actually coming out yesterday. Millennium, I want to say. My brain is a little bit wrong on that one, maybe. But a couple of sweeper lenses coming out at the start. This time around, though, everyone going in there with those warning totems. sOAZ is missing those cleavers on purpose.
Definitely missing every single one. But yeah, as you talk about, no sweeping lenses. I don't expect to see too much level 1 action. And I actually just expect to see most teams put down the wards they need to and go to the lanes. Both the bot lanes are moving, so they're going to be in the lane at 155. Nobody wants to give up, you know, the early push, so the other team can get level 2 early and go on you.
Oh, here we go then, 140. See the junglers on their respective buffs right now. It's going to be a red buff start for Roccat's Jankos with Xaxus there to help him out. Cyanide will be starting on the top side as well with the blue buff. sOAZ is also there to give him a helping hand.
And the smart thing about Sana starting topside right here means he can go to the bot lane when he hits the level 3 mark and he has the double buff. And if the bot lane from Fnatic should have issues due to having Leona who can't do much early game, he will be there to help them, set something up, and maybe get them rolling from there.
Now, there is that bottom lane we were talking about. Caitlyn Leona versus Lucian Thresh right now. This early game, as you said, could be dangerous for Fnatic.
It's basically what they risk by picking Leona. Once you hit the level 6 mark, you're so strong, you can pretty much always all in because of your tanky stats and your heavy CC. But the early game, it is not very good for you. If you survive it though, with help from Lee Sin, Fnatic will be very strong. I see them going in here. Yeah,
a lot of damage already on towards YellOwStaR. Rekkles also took a bit of a blast, but they returned that damage back on towards Vander. So we'll see how that one all starts to phase up. We can see that Peke is actually waiting on the bottom side here for that next wave to be coming through, and that just to give him any kind of early warning whether Elise was coming around already.
Yeah, it meant he could actually spot him moving in, but at the same time, he had already shoved up the wave in mid. There was no reason for him to stay there and try and poke this early in the game. He's doing the right thing though. If he can play this safe, get a few levels, he can really start bullying out Overpow.
See, he's already started to do that, positioning, pushing Overpow right back onto his own turret, so that he has to sit there and farm things up underneath his tower, which I was just about to say shouldn't have too much problem with doing, and this is the first 2 CS that we see. But, you know, pressure may be coming into this one, but again, Overpow, as soon as he moves forward, Peke throws everything at him.
Yeah, and this time Peke actually decided to move up to the turret and harass Overpow because Cyanide was nearby. If a gang should have been coming in from Elise, he would have been able to safeguard to him and, you know, help out, and he might even win the 2v2 fight for Fnatic's favor.
There is Peke. Cyanide is still at the back, but Elise is on the top side here by the Wraiths, and Jankos actually going to start to work his way around from this one. There's no ward in that top side, but Peke, with that wave coming back towards the middle of the lane, decides wisely at this point to back away a bit.
Yeah, notice how Peke is positioned in the lane. He's moving towards the side he has warded, so it's a lot easier for him to dodge a gank if it should happen. Jankos right now is forced to pretty much repel into his face, and that's very risky. He's going for it though.
He is going to go for it. Satchel will actually bounce Peke away. Cocoon misses, but they dive into it. Peke goes low. He's a dead man. His first blood coming down. Cyanide does get one back on towards Overpow, but I don't think Cyanide can fight this one. That got him very low, but sOAZ has teleported down here. He's going to have Mundo running into him, and if these cleavers start to land, Jankos is in trouble. The bottom lane is starting to move up as well. There's the repel. Very smart from Jankos. Puts him back into the lane, and he is going to be able to escape this one.
Wow, very smart play by Jankos. He managed to escape due to the fact he could jump to the minions right here. YellOwStaR did move up, but a bit too late. We have to touch about the fight though. We're talking about the early game damage of car 6. If he actually gets to 6, he jumps in and he managed to burst Peke so hard he didn't even flash in time.
Yeah, flash was used with the ignite from Peke. Actually, Overpow didn't even flash during that one. YellOwStaR is now coming back into that lane, which, you know, that bit of wandering up towards the top side actually means that Celaver has already hit level 4 in that one, and Thresh won't be too far behind him. And you don't want to give someone like Vander the chance to really get going there. As Peke coming back into the lane, boots of speed, 2 Doran's rings now. And
Cyanide is instantly staying around the mid lane to help out if Overpow should jump on Peke. Peke has no flash, so he's very risky for him this one. He's ahead in the experience though, and with Cyanide staying nearby most of the time, he's feeling fairly safe.
Star just camping out in that bottom brush. And would throw maybe a blind through there and cash onto him, but Cyanide is down on the bottom side of the map here. That mid wave pushed out once again. Peke, despite going down for that first blood, is a good chunk of CS ahead, which we can expect, I think, at this point in things anyway.
Yeah, so basically he just shoved the wave in early. Right now, though, he's playing very safe. Again, he wants to keep the wave right here, so he's not in risk of getting ganked by Jankos once again. Talking a little bit about the bot lane, very impressive that Rekkles is actually even in CS. He has the Leona support who can't do much other than pretty much all in. So he's doing a very good job, and this is why he loves to play Caitlyn. He can always farm.
Always farm from safety right at the back of that minion wave, as well as Xaxus just goes in for a bit of damage on towards sOAZ, and actually it's quite a lot of damage. There's the Ignite going down, and that is a 1v1 kill in the top lane. That shouldn't happen.
That should never happen. sOAZ completely underestimated the damage from Xaxus, and he actually ends up dying for it. And this is just Roccat picking up kills where they need. They're actually setting up the dragon now, so sOAZ is dead.
And all 4 men, 2 from the bottom, the mid laner and the jungler around this one. You see Dragon started off, but they actually back away from that one.
Yeah, wisely enough, because they spotted Cyanide in the mid lane, so they knew he was nearby and Fnatic could move up and actually start a 4v4. You don't want to start it this early when you have taken damage from the Dragon, but it actually hurts quite a lot in this level 5-4 area.
Celaver starting to move in closer there to the duo of Fnatic, but actually his jungler was recalling. This top lane, as he said, Xaxus taking down sOAZ 1v1. That gives him a 2-level jump actually over sOAZ at this point, and because sOAZ wasn't level 6, they didn't have that amazing ultimate in those scenarios to give him that massive regen.
But this was kind of the trade or the risk we touched on in Champ Select. When you pick Renekton versus Mundo, you have the early game on Renekton, but you have the late game on Dr. Mundo. This time around though, Xaxus really managed to get everything from this and actually pick up a kill. Normally you just see Renekton being ahead in CS and pressuring the Mundo down. This time though, he got a very nice kill.
Jankos just getting himself a red buff on the top side. Actually was just pinged on there, so they pretty much know the timer on that one. I don't think there's a ward. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think there's actually a ward up there. There is. I'm telling a complete lie. He was stood on top of the ward. So they had the position. They know exactly where Jankos was there. And they ping over the other side. They know that he's switched over to that bottom side of the jungle. So keeping tabs nicely here on Jankos.
Yeah, that's what they need to do, because Jankos, he's the one who's making the plays early against the Roccat. Look towards the top lane though, we have the Tiamat already completed onto Xaxus, which means he can just constantly shove this wave all the time, and if he should get ganked, he's fairly safe as a Renekton. He's very beefy, and there's not too much hard to see from either Dr. Mundo or Sim to actually shut him down.
Look at that, underneath the tower, Xaxus reduces sOAZ to half HP. Really great play from him. Are they going to go for Dragon here? They're going to start that one off. Actually, Lee Sin is on the backside of things, so this is actually a possibly more dangerous scenario than the last one.
It is. Well, the bottom from Fnatic is far away. Roccat knew this. That was why they actually went for this one. They saw them recall, and immediately they said, we're in a position to do this. Fnatic is not to actually fight for it. Go straight for the Dragon. Very smart call, and very low risk call as well, because they knew the bot lane was gone.
You will see Xaxus between the towers. Easy work when you've got that Tiamat in there, to be honest. There's not much preventing him from doing this one. They knew that Cyanide was down there by the Dragon. They saw his Q actually being thrown into the Dragon Pit, and Xaxus just having a bit of a roam. Going to get some deeper vision in there just to make sure that he's safe in case Cyanide comes across. Go straight back up to the Tribush as the next wave of minions start to come into that lane.
Xaxus, he's just going to keep free farming as it is right now. We still have to touch on the fact though that Peke in the mid lane is far ahead in CS. Yes, there is a kill on Overpow, but Peke so far is ahead in gold due to the fact that he can more or less just shove the wave constantly whenever he wants to, and there's nothing Overpow can do to stop him.
A really good job of actually, well, despite the death, playing so solidly, playing it defensively. Sat on 1700 gold. Xaxus there in that top lane once again, just going in this time on towards the turret. So as he's a bit tankier now that he's got that giant belt in there, along with his door and shield from earlier. We can see that Jankos has come up towards that top side as well. He had the double buffs on right there, so just showing that he's ready to play.
It was a very clever ward though by sOAZ. He kind of thought, I can get dive right here, Renekton can tank the turret, and with the damage on the execute from Elise, they can actually take me down, even though my ultimate is running.
There's the culling coming out from Celaver. That's one way to clear out the wave that's gathered underneath your turret, and well, because of Cyanide's position there, they didn't want to give him too much time to have a go onto that outer turret. We've not seen a turret being taken down yet, we should mention, but I think that top one may be the first one to fall. Xaxus keeping pushed incredibly close onto the tower itself. sOAZ has just backed away, does have TP, but he's walking back to the lane here. That might actually be the tower down.
Yeah, he's actually going to take it down right now. No reason to use teleport from sOAZ because it's just going to go down on the next wave then, because he's just going to keep shoving it in. And this means now that Xaxus, he can just constantly push for the next turret, and if sOAZ is teleporting away, you might actually risk losing your second turret in this lane.
Bottom, which has been fairly quiet, to be honest. We're expecting maybe once they hit level 6 to fall-ins to come down from YellOwStaR, but that's not really happened. Rekkles, we should touch on that because his CS lead right now is starting to grow.
The Fnatic is simply saying we don't have to all-in to win this lane, we're just out-farming them, and they're doing such a good job. Rekkles, I don't think he's missing any CS at the moment, and same goes for Pega in the mid lane. That's why Fnatic is actually doing okay, despite being down a dragon and a turret for Roccat side.
They're going to go all in for this one. Cyanide was waiting at the backside. In fact, he's still waiting there. It needs YellOwStaR, though, to pretty much hit an entire combo if they are to get this one started off. Vander just waiting. Actually hits the recall there. So looks like Vander and Celaver may be backing off from that one. xPeke again moving back on towards his raids. He's been farming them up constantly so far this game.
Yeah, I mean, look at the farm on Cyanide compared to the farm on Jankos. Jankos is getting the jungle camps he needs. Cyanide has to give up a lot because Pega is constantly shoving his own wave, going to the raves. It's how you get really fed as 6, and it's a smart enough tactic if Pega can then carry from there on.
We shall see about that one up until now. Despite that death at level, I say at level 1. The early first blood, I think they were around level 3 when that actually happened. He's done a great job. Actually has 2 levels in advantage over Overpow. That top lane though, there we just saw it briefly. It's not been the nicest of times for sOAZ. You can see that Tiamat in there is causing him a few problems, to say the least.
It is. sOAZ pretty much can only just stay around his own turret and then farm whatever comes to him. And I actually think Fnatic is fine with this. Oh, see, jumping in on Peke.
Oh, Peke! 2/3 of his health gone pretty much instantly from that one. Actually, Xaxus coming down here from that top lane. I say top lane, it's pretty much Fnatic's blue buff kind of level on that top side of the map, so it's quick for him to move over. And this is a blue buff possible steal coming in, and, well, they do pick that one up. Meanwhile, Cyanide going to get jumped on. This is hard to get away from the cocoon. Doesn't quite land. Meanwhile, Celaver all alone in that bottom lane. We did see Vander throwing out the lantern to bring his AD carry back to safety. 2 close encounters, no kills though.
No, but action everywhere, and Roccat is doing the exact thing they should do with Xaxus when he's pushed up the lane so much. Go for this blue buff, because they have all the pressure, they have all the vision on Fnatic's members, so they can go in here and take it. Jankos had to smite it, so they couldn't give it to Overpow due to Cyanide moving in, and he was, in smite range for it.
And just having that red buff now on his own. Overpow, we've seen how much damage he can do. Brutalizer, I think pickaxe is what he's currently got in his arsenal. The Queen's Unholy Grail has been done on that last return here by Peke, who's quite frankly farming up a storm at this point. And actually, he actually was top in terms of farm at 20-minute mark across the entire EU LCS.
He's always been like this, like constantly farming. That's what Pega does. That's what he's good at. We have seen him play these assassin types where he focuses more on killing, but generally he likes to fall back on these very farm-heavy ones. And I think it favors Fnatic quite a lot. That it gives a lot of safety. The fact you will get this very strong AP champion for when the team fights actually start. And now sOAZ getting dived.
Yeah, sOAZ getting dived here by Jankos and by Xaxus, and he pops his ultimate here. The Ignite was down onto him, and we saw even with those turret hits coming in, he's still pretty healthy from that one. sOAZ pushed right down to the wire. Flash had to be used to get away.
And Xaxus, he's so strong. This does mean, though, he won't have the ultimate if he decides to move down for this dragon fight. It's going to be in about 10 seconds when the dragon spawns. He might, though, just choose to stay in this top lane and constantly push it down for sOAZ to stay, otherwise he will lose his turret.
Down on the bottom lane there, you see that 140 to 122 CS. Rekkles having a good time of things in that lane. He's got the workings of that Bloodthirster already. Other side, Celaver has finished off his Bloodthirster, and I can only surmise from that there's a lot of gold currently sat along with Rekkles. There was the blue buff given him, okay, 900 gold that Rekkles currently has, which is enough for him to do that. But we have Dragon coming in. Roccat are already in position.
There's a ward on it. Will Fnatic try and contest it, or just try and steal it with the 6th bomb? They're not really in a position to fight, though.
Oh, not quite quick enough there, and there is the hook coming in. The cocoon came first, and Vander will pick up the kill, and it was a last-ditch dive in there for Cyanide to try and smite it away, and why not? Cyanide has proved to be one of the best in the game when it comes to stealing stuff like that.
Yeah, but Vander predicted the safeguard, so he just fired away the hook instantly as Cyanide actually jumped in, and he got him, managed to take him down. And Fnatic, they just gave up this dragon. They don't dare to fight anything. And xAxus now going on for Peke.
Between the turrets with that minion wave pushed up there, they weren't tanking any of that damage up, so actually get away because Peke was able to clear out that wave pretty quickly on that one. Meanwhile, Vander and Celaver in there for this one. They'll not finish off the pink ward, and Jankos will be spotted coming in. That's a good ulti out of YellOwStaR, but is it going to be enough to keep him alive? There's the cocoon landing, and there's the kill for Jankos.
And Roccat is just everywhere this time. They've even gone for Rekkles.
Oh, he's not going to escape this one. Uses a barrier, but there's a bite down from Jankos once again. Picks himself up the double kill. Roccat, they're taking everything right now.
They are dominating the map completely, and every time Fnatic moves somewhere, Roccat is there with multiple people and takes the kills they need, or the dragon. And right now, they're just destroying Fnatic in this early game.
Oh, Vander down in the bottom lane actually is pretty much being pushed out by sOAZ. He was trying to recall. sOAZ actually going to dive in from this one, and the presence of Celaver and Jankos actually forcing him back. Flash used by Vander just to get himself out to safety.
And sOAZ did use his teleport to come down there. He didn't get anything for it, except for the minion wave, and yeah, forcing the flash from Vander. Rekkles moving up to this top lane to defend it from xAxus. He needs to be careful though. If he's left alone, xAxus can dive him. Cyanide might want to try and close him for this one though.
Not sure if he can kill him though.
Nope.
Level 9 to level 12, xAxus like, well, you throw your Q at me, and in the end he didn't even dodge it. It was just missed by Cyanide. Overpow actually starting to put more pressure on towards Peke as well. Almost got that last whisper added in towards his brutalizer. Probably feeling a lot more confident to go in. Actually, Fnatic pushing their duo lane up to the top side to try and deal with xAxus.
We did see them recalling now. They might actually want to move back to this bot lane, unless he actually goes to stop them.
Well, and he does stop them as well, as we are going to see Overpow diving in there. But Cyanide is coming around. The Q doesn't connect, and Overpow will be able to walk away from it. There's a bomb. Oh, not got the damage to finish off Overpow. He's going to start to recall. Jankos had come around there towards that mid lane just to cover things off. And in the end, no kill. So close to taking out Overpow though.
And meanwhile, Roccat can now take this bot turret. Even though they're losing the CS in the mid and the bot lane, they have all the map control, and they constantly, every time Fnatic moves around, they will take something else. Right here though, you see Sana staying around the mid lane, and as soon as Overpow jumped, he was there. He helped out Peke, and they almost picked out a kill.
I think a bit of a worrying time in terms of the items that have been purchased here recently. Haunting Guys for at least, Last Whisper on Lucian, Last Whisper on Kha'Zix, Spirit Visage in there for xAxus's Renekton. That's a good few big items.
We just see Sana kicking back Jankos, not getting into the turret range, so he should be able to escape. We see sOAZ though, closing in from behind. Can they get him?
sOAZ coming in from that top side of things. There is the repel, but Jankos can't really go in anywhere. There is the flash, he does get slowed. Brilliant cocoon coming down. Here comes Overpow as well. Jankos still walking away, but Peke will finish him.
And this time it's Fnatic that punishes Roccat for overextending, getting a much needed kill on Peke. He's so farmed, he has a kill now. He's actually starting to get quite some items. He is lacking all the global gold that Roccat has. That's also why we see the Last Whisper already completed. Now Overpow going on sOAZ.
Speaking of Last Whisper, we're going to see Overpow using that here again. sOAZ the bomb coming down. Overpow falls low. sOAZ sees a chance for a kill here and will be able to pick one up. xAxus going on towards sOAZ though. He flashes in there. Will get the finisher. Peke can't really kill off xAxus here, I feel. He's trying to get the slow with the mines. That doesn't work for him. And that will be a 1-for-1 trade.
But it's so many fights right now, and Roccat, they are so aggressive. They constantly want to go in for these fights, even though they don't even know where rest of Fnatic is. Cyanide was closing in on them. They went for the fight anyway, ended up trading 1-for-1. That's alright. But in the end, I think they're playing a little bit too aggressive because they had quite a good lead, and they could just try and rotate more, wait for the next dragon, and then pick a 5v5 fight instead.
xAxus' regen, you see it almost back up to full HP after that one. The mines will wipe out that minion wave and can't put any more damage onto the turret. But the bot lane, they're not scared of things either. They've got decent wards down by that red buff area, so they know if anyone's coming down through the jungle, they can keep pushing.
They can keep pushing, and also because they knew where Cyanide was for the last minute. He was in mid lane first for the counter game, and then he returned to the mid lane afterwards, so they had full vision of him, and they knew there was no risk of them dying. And right now, with a Last Whisper and G3 on your Lucian, you're not really afraid of 2v2 fights.
And Xaxus again going towards that mid lane with Overpow for company. This is another turret. This is the last outer turret taken by Roccat, and we've commented on this so many times in their victories that they are one of the best teams that we've seen. When they get a lead, of turning that lead into such a big one that you can't come back.
Yeah, and we actually saw it from the start. They got a small early game lead, and instantly they took the dragon, took the next dragon, started taking the top turret down, and so far now, they're just pressuring Fnatic everywhere, and we have dragon come up in 30 seconds. I'm not even sure Fnatic can actually fight for it.
30 seconds, and there are 4 men down on the bottom lane. We see the Overpow starting to move through the Fnatic jungle as well to join up with them. That turret, that inner turret on the bottom lane is also not very healthy at this point. Dragon up in 20 seconds. Roccat could just stay here for now, as that bomb is going to come across. Does connect onto Vander, but will he be able to do anything? There's Overpow catching Peke inside of the jungle. There is the satchel charge, doesn't send him far enough, and Overpow picks up a kill, just stalking him through the jungle.
Superior ward coverage in the jungle of Fnatic means that they can see every movement they're doing. Peke had to move down to throw his ultimate, but then Overpow, he's just waiting for him, as instantly he saw the chance and he could jump with him. And the smart thing Overpow did, when we saw the satchel coming down from Peke, Overpow stepped on the right side of it, so he jumped with Peke when he activated it.
Using Peke's tools against him in that case. And that's obviously set them up perfectly for Dragon. We said 20 seconds until that's won. They got the kill inside of the jungle. They took that bottom inner turret, and now they take Dragon again. Look at the gold. We're approaching a 10,000 gold lead almost here, not even 22 minutes in.
And who cares about losing in CS in your lane if you're getting all the global gold on the map? We have 3 dragons and 4 turrets to nothing on Fnatic's side. They really need to try and get something from this, or at least try and extend the game. And now we have to touch on the fact Caitlyn 6, that is way clear. That means extending the game, unless Roccat can manage to dive them and maybe shut them down, or keep doing what they're doing now, picking up kills whenever they see a chance, and then get something else on the map. But with the combo from Fnatic, they can really defend and extend this game for a long time until they have the needed items.
Let's have a look at the point you were making there. Peke, 200 HCS to the 152. Kills pretty similar from that one, but if we look at the gold that they've taken throughout this game so far as the bomb comes into the middle there, the gold that they've taken throughout the game between them is actually pretty close, sorry, with 200 just being the difference from that one. That's with that massive farm lead that Peke has.
Yeah, but again, this is global gold. This is why global gold is so strong, because it's for everyone on the team. You can have as much farm as you want, it's only gold on you, not the rest. So what Roccat has been doing is simply playing the map. They had weaker lanes, didn't matter for them. Instead, they just took everything they could, and Fnatic didn't react to a single dragon.
Yeah, and you can see that in the top lane as well, 2,000 difference, 4,000 gold difference between the junglers, for example. The AD carries is 1,000 gold in there, so we are going to see Overpow going a little bit deep from this one. Actually may end up getting caught out. Cyanide is at the back. Overpow still alive from it. Vander throws out the hook, but it goes straight between them. No kills there.
Overpower stealth just activated when Cyanide was about to kick him back, so he couldn't target him in the stealth, and instead he ended up doing nothing with it.
3 of them knocked up, but they're a 4-man defense against what is a 5-man Fnatic team in this mid lane. Overpow obviously had to go back home to heal, but he shall be back here in just a second, and Roccat have started to move over towards the Baron dance.
And there's double ping wards
down, yeah.
There's no vision. Look at the whole ward coverage here from Rockat's side. Everything for Fnatic is warded. They will throw the bomb and spot them out, though. They're moving for this one. They want to fight.
Didn't really do that much to them there. That's a worrying sign from Fnatic as a hook going to land on towards Cyanide. They want to keep him away, and they're going to keep him away by killing him. Overpow gets that one. The Baron is going very, very low. Roccat still doing that. Will finish that, and now they're going to surely be hunting for the kills. The stun comes on to sOAZ. He pops his ultimate, but can he escape from this one? There's a push from the side. Good satchel charge will knock them back. That means that sOAZ lives, but Cyanide went down. Baron went over to Roccat.
Yeah, and Roccat completely expected Cyanide to move around there so he could try and steal the Baron, and the hook came in from Vander. We have seen it so many times. Instantly hooks him, kills him with Overpow, and there's no chance of them actually losing the Baron from there. They did take a lot of damage though, because they were stuck in this pit versus 6, constantly throwing in bombs, but they managed to pick it up, and very fast reaction from Roccat, instantly going for this. Look at the hook coming from Vander first, and then Cyanide, he's just dead instantly. The damage coming in from Peke though, and actually the ultimate from YellOwStaR completely missing. He could have maybe taken out Vander. He would have done too much for the fight though, because now, right now, after they pick up his Baron, they're just chasing down, and Fnatic, they're too far behind to even fight him.
Should probably remind you guys, coming into this game, Fnatic 7 wins, 2 losses, Roccat 6 wins, 3 losses. Now, this will actually put them level in the table if Roccat can see this win through. They're currently exactly 10,000 gold in the lead, 25 minutes in, 4-0 in turrets, although Fnatic's first turret of the game might come to them as sOAZ is pressuring that top side, and actually it won't because Xaxus has come over there, and I tell you what, he might fancy his chances of having a good go at that big tanky Mundo.
We've hit the point though where the tanks can really kill each other. It's more or less just push out the wave and then move somewhere else to make a play. sOAZ, he's having his teleport so he can stay in the top lane, constantly pick up the farm he needs, then rely on Peke and Peke and Rekkles to just wave clear in the mid lane over and over, forcing Roccat to have to do a rather risky dive, and then maybe Fnatic can try a comeback.
sOAZ again being pressured, Xaxus pushing out his wave so quickly with that Ravenous Hydra and Spirit Visage. He's got another Giant's Belt in there as well.
We have to touch on one thing. Look at the junglers right here. Farm-wise and item-wise. Jankos, so much more farm, so much more global gold, and he's going his full AP Elise build again, where he's able to pretty much destroy anyone who comes close, and they can get this early kill that Overpow needs to get his reset, so he can keep jumping on in fights.
We've seen a Bloodthirster added in as well for Kha'Zix. Celaver almost got that Trinity Force on top of his Bloodthirster and Last Whisper at this point. And the thing is, Overpow can go to any lane with his Kha'Zix right now, because if he comes down to a 1v1, that's where he really shines.
Yeah, that's where he really shines. He might actually want to shove up this lane and then try and come in behind Fnatic here in the mid turret and instantly kill a target. It will require though that he will either land a cocoon or a hook from Vander to really set it up.
Well, we see that YellOwStaR has actually come down to that bottom lane to help things out with Rekkles, who currently Phantom Dancer, Bloodthirster. Well, look at Xaxus, pretty much alone here. He's going to carve a second turret in that top lane. The middle inner turret has gone down. Overpow jumped in on towards Rekkles there. He's going to be stealthed up, actually gets slowed, and the stuns are going to start to come around. Exhaust is down as well. Overpow's going to try and escape this one, but with the bomb, with the ace in the hole. I mean, they killed him, but they've thrown so much at him, and that's going to mean a free inning turret for Roccat on the top side.
Yeah, it was a desperate move by Fnatic. Actually going in on sOAZ right here. Won't be able to pick up the kill, but desperate move by Fnatic, moving 4 people down to take on 1 guy and giving up a mid turret for it. This means Roccat can actually move down for the in-hit now and force Fnatic to either take a fight or give it up for free. And we have to give credit to Roccat, what they're doing is so smart. They notice a lot of wave clear on Fnatic side, so they spread out in all 3 lanes and just pressure every single one down and forcing Fnatic to use the turret in one of the lanes. This was the top one because Mundo was there. He couldn't wave clear himself, and therefore he lost the turret, and they also managed to pick up the mid one because Fnatic rotated bot to try and pick up the kill on Overpow.
Yeah, there's no real risk in that play from Roccat, because even if they do get taken down, it needs probably 3 people to do that, which means somewhere else is just open for them. And with the Renekton pushing top, with the Kha'Zix down bottom, and the rest of them then in the mid lane, either of those lanes can take a turret then.
And that's the thing, because if Fnatic engage on them in the mid lane, you have the 2 solo laners, they're actually fairly close. They can come in very fast and join the fight, maybe clean up, get a few kills here, and get some resets. And at the same time, if we saw Fnatic do what they did, send multiple people to one lane to kill a single guy, you just take the mid turret with your 3 people. So all in all, very nice play by Roccat, and they're using this lead perfectly.
More items actually starting to be picked up here. A Void Staff for the jungle, at least on top of Abyssal Scepter, and that Haunting, guys, as you mentioned, going full damage here is Jankos.
And this is the Jankos build. He wants to be able to be a threat in these team fights, and he wants to be able to carry. And again, as I touched on earlier, when you combine this with the Kha'Zix and a single target burst damage from Elise, you can take a target so low that Overpow can come in, get the kill, get the reset, and then keep going. And meanwhile, you have Celaver with now Trinity Force, Bloodthirster, and Last Whisper standing in the backline, just hammering away on whoever comes close.
Now we also see that Locket of the Iron Solari being picked up here for Van, an item that we're only seeing spotted in certain teams, certainly not as popular as it used to be.
But it's very smart against AoE from Peke. If he throws down his ultimate and you pop this shield around everyone nearby, it will take quite a lot of the damage away and also keep Roccat fairly healthy. So it's a smart pickup.
And a Ghostblade, another item which we don't get to see all that often here, is now finished on Overpow as well, who's doing such a great job. And we can see that Roccat going in there once again. Xaxus just volleying out, pushing his top wave back, and the rest of them in the mid looking for a free in him.
They're basically just forcing Fnatic to keep people in the mid lane, while Xaxus gets some turret damage up in the top lane, And now they're Fnatic actually going in.
Yeah, they're actually going in for this one, but Cyanide just going to pay the price. There was no follow-up from the rest of the team. YellOwStaR pushed away. They dive on towards sOAZ. He's a tanky one, and he's down to less than half. In him falls, and they can go straight to that top lane because of the fact that Xaxus has just pushed that one out previously. This is inhibitor turret number 2, taken away by Roccat, and they're going to have the second in him as well.
And Cyanide is dead for 20 seconds more. Even if he should come up, if he does this again, he will just die instantly. Roccat didn't even use anything. They're going on sOAZ now.
Xaxus is going on sOAZ. Well, he's going super low. They actually turn it around here. Xaxus is going to fall. That's basically a free kill from Fnatic. Xaxus pushing a bit too far out.
A great ultimate coming in from YellOwStaR, stun locking him there. The lantern was there for him to take it out, but he was simply stunned all the time. Great ultimate from YellOwStaR, getting a much needed kill. But by this time, I'm afraid Fnatic needs kind of a miracle to win this game.
I don't think you're too far off the mark as well in terms of it being a miracle. Look at the goal lead, 15,000. We've got 6 seconds until Baron comes up. Roccat really don't need it at this point, but they can use it to bait out the fight.
And look what Fnatic's doing. Overpow is on a ward. They can maybe get a kill here and then take the Baron afterwards.
Well, they might need to hurry up about this one because Overpow's having a good go. Ace in the hole will get the kill though from Rekkles. That's another nice pick, just purely from vision control. And look at this, they're moving straight to Baron. The problem that Roccat have is that Celaver is down on the bottom side. The Overpow is dead. Basically going to be up to Jankos here for a steal.
Yeah, Jankos has to try and steal this one because Xaxus is far away, Celaver is far away. Fnatic can try and burst this one down and try and get it.
Oh, Cyanide in on top of that one, and actually we are going to see them going in, and there is the steal! Jankos picks up the Baron, Rekkles is going to fall, that's 2 kills coming down, Cyanide will die as well, and the shutdown even came, double kill comes in, triple kill comes down, and it's Celaver that picks them up. 4 men down for Fnatic with 40 second spawn timers. The Baron picked up there, smited away by Jankos in the end. They're going to go for the win. In fact, they surrender.
They surrendered. Fnatic had to make this call of going for the Baron. They had to do it, and they had to risk at least stealing it. It was the only choice because they were so far behind. Jankos, though, showing how good he is. Coming in, gets the steal, and then they can just grab up everything and get the kills they need to finish the game.
Amazing play there out of Roccat, and I wasn't expecting quite the one-sided victory there that we did see coming out for Roccat, but we did say it, that this is the team that if you give them any kind of lead, Rekkles himself said we need a strong mid-game against Roccat because they drive those advantages home, and in the mid-game, my gosh, did they do that.
Yeah, and everything kind of started with Xaxus winning his top lane so hard. He picked up the kill 1v1 versus sOAZ and took the turret, and he constantly was a pain for Fnatic to deal with. Later on, Roccat simply went for the dragons. As soon as they saw the bot lane from Fnatic recalling, they took the first dragon, got the time on that one. Fnatic had no idea what was being taken. Then they took the next one and next one and next one, and therefore they simply just kept extending the lead. And yes, they played a little bit over-aggressive just when we started the mid-game area, but it wasn't even too much, and they always managed to trade at least 1 for 1.
I have to ask you about this question that I had before the game. Is Fnatic's dominance over the league ended? We saw them playing double AP comps. Obviously, it didn't work out for them. 2 games in a row. Now, mid-season experimentation, I guess we could maybe even put that one down to. But this time, they went back to a combo that had been winning them games previously, that had put them to that 7-0 that they were sat at before they lost their first game to Gambit. Now, this is 3 losses in a row that Fnatic have had. Does your answer to that question change?
Not really. I think more it's because people are really starting to prepare things versus Fnatic. You always want to prepare some tactics for the first team in the league. You want to have something special, and you're really motivated when you go into these games because you know you have nothing to lose. If you win this one, it's fantastic. If you lose, well, it was the first team. So you play without pressure. I think for me though, Fnatic has really slowed down the game. Early game, they're playing a lot more passive due to these very farm-heavy champions. Also, we talk about the Jinx in the pre-game. Caitlyn, you just farm your lane. That's it. You farm your lane, you get as much farm as possible, and then you try and go into this late game point where you're very strong. Jinx, on the other hand, and Rekkles used to play 100% win rate. They just took kills after kills after kills, and it shut down these teams early game. They're not doing this anymore. And it's hurting them, because they rely more now on Cyanide trying to make plays, and also just every lane not losing. Like, if a single lane is losing at this point, pretty much everything falls apart for Fnatic in the early game.
Now, after all that action, I'm going to ask you, which moment